Good. I'm Bart Winkler. Welcome into the Winklerverse. Every week, mostly, we pump out 55 to 65 great minutes of content to shave your head to. That's a shout out to our friend Radio Joe. I am Bart Winkler. Grant Bills is here. Paul Immig is here.
Hello.
This is the MmHmm. And I think we should get right into the Bucks. I think that we need to do that. I was on the air on Tuesday night. It was very hard to watch the game and be focused on my show. And then it was much harder when Tyrese Halliburton was saying that our fans suck, which that's something that I get to say. And in game one, they were good. I thought the crowd was good. But I just don't like his whole vibe of like, these guys haven't won anything. They took runners up in the in-season tournament, and they tied a series 1-1. That exchange where everybody clapped in each other's face gave me nightmares. It was so awful. So with that opening statement.
Well, also, let me just add to that very briefly. Tyrese Halliburton has been, in the words of MJF, mid. Like,
in the words of Bart Winkler, I proclaimed last night that he was no better than the 7th most effective player in the series so far.
That is probably being players who have been better on the Pacers. Siakam, obviously, Nembhard, Nesmith,
Turner,
Miles Turner. All 4 of those guys have been better in the series in 2 games. But I don't know. Like, I've not looked at like some of the more advanced stuff of, whatever basketball's version of WAR is. But the wins above replacement for those 4 guys would be more than Halliburton's. I'm so bummed that this kid from Appleton, Oshkosh, whatever, it can't just be like a normal, nice human who we can all like root for from afar. He just had to kind of be schmucky and root against, like, say the things that he said after that. I'm bummed about that because, yeah. And also, this went from the Sabonis trade went from being this thing where it's like, what were the Kings thinking? Blah, blah, blah. And like, De'Aaron Fox is a better player than Tyrese Halliburton. Or mm-mm.
I love me some De'Aaron Fox, but I think that's a little strong, Paul.
Are you? Should I read to you Halliburton's stats since the in-season?
No, I think the thing where I groaned was like the Kings. My take on the Kings is they did everything right. They found a way to build a good team. It's just that their duo isn't as good as the other duos. It's just not.
But do you think if they could somehow,
if De'Aaron Fox was on the Pacers in these 2 games, he would have been much more of an impact than Tyrese Halliburton?
Absolutely.
I'd actually be worried about De'Aaron Fox.
This is
Halliburton since the in-season tournament, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 43% shooting, 31 from 3. Why is he getting – he had a great month and a quarter. He had a great 5 weeks to start the season. He's going to be an all-NBA player based on 5 weeks?
It's a bit rich for my blood. He's
Very.
The engine. I'm saying the slander that you guys are throwing at Tyrese Halliburton is a little rich for my blood.
Oh my! Okay.
Well, I'm also in a very defensive mode because I put a tweet out that said he is becoming the least likable Wisconsin athlete, born athlete
That's
ever.
Easy. Yeah.
And I didn't know this was a thing. Pacers Twitter, all up in my shit, and I'm getting all the like. It's not again. I want to make this very clear for people who think I have thin skin and I'm a little bitch. I don't care if I'm constantly getting arrows at me. I just think there should be a reason why. And the arrows should be better than, I just got this one. Your name is literally Bart Winkler. What does that mean? My name's fucking Sweet. You don't forget that name. Unless you just meet me and then 2 minutes later, call me Brett. That happens a lot. Cry more. If you're going to say something, say something. It's just really annoying.
They're just upping your impressions. The algorithm loves
And the amount of people or the amount of replies Like if you look at my replies and think, wow, there's a lot of people saying cry more to Bart. There's a lot more pictures of two women having intercourse with a picture that says link in bio.
Yeah.
Not even blurred anymore.
Ah.
Yeah. You used to live in a time where you had to watch channel 76 scrambled just to get a glimpse. You used to have to go to your uncle's house and check under every mattress and cushion to see if there was a stack of Playboys.
Grant knows what you're talking about with these examples.
Now all you have to do is put out a tweet that has 5 or more engagements to it, and you're going to see sexual content. What a time. What a time.
It really is.
What time? All right. First topic. I don't know who I got this.
Paul's normal 2:30 breakfast.
No, this is sorry. Bart, I have to get my meal in before 16 hours fasting, right? You're doing it with me still?
Yep.
All right. Because if I want to eat in the morning, I got to get. So, all right. I stole this phrasing from someone. Part of you just wants this team to fucking lose and be done with it. MmHmm. Or MmMmm.
Grant?
The one time in the history of the show you're going to have me go first.
Well, I'll go first. You want me to go first?
No, I can go first. I mean, that thought's crossed my mind quite a few times. I mean, it depends on how Giannis comes back and when he comes back. Because I think like game 2 of the series, that game felt like it had a Giannis-sized hole in it.
Yeah.
Like Siakam kind of gets free reign. Miles Turner kind of gets free reign. And those are two players.
Spicy P.
Yeah, Marcus Johnson, a little much with that. I love Marcus Johnson. Just a little heavy-handed.
I think he forgot Siakam's name at one point.
That could have been it.
And then I felt like Lisa was overdoing the Siakam to combat the spicy P.
These
are the things that I noticed.
I don't know. Yeah, Paul, the thought has crossed my mind many times. It's just like, if this is going to go down in flames, let's just do it now so I don't have to rush home after work and commit a beautiful spring night of my evening to sitting on the couch being pissed off. I already do that with the Brewers. I don't need 2 versions of that every night. I can do with just the one.
I will say,
yeah, I'll be honest that thought has crossed my mind plenty.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'll take the fall for the Tuesday night loss because I watched it live.
Oh, Paul,
which is not something I do, and I won't do it again. That was a terrible experience. As a matter of fact, please say nothing about the Clippers Mavericks, for I still have to finish it, and I will. And I will, on my own time, I will watch it unspoiled, unless one of you two bastards says something. Bart.
So you don't know about Luka's knee then?
That's an acceptable joke in that moment. Yes. Bart, part of you wants this team to just lose and be done with it? No, but let me just say, Ed, real quick. I think, and by the way, yeah, one of the three of us may have been a pre-air discussion, but I think part of the calculus with the question, at least the way I think of it, is that if Giannis comes back, we can reference Kevin Durant, where his calf turned into the Achilles. Like, part of the calculus of answering that question could be, we don't know the medical status.
I don't think he's coming. I came into the series not thinking he's playing.
But now, unless and Doc Rivers, he's doing his job.
If he plays in game 3, he could have played in game 2, in my medical opinion.
Doc Rivers is doing his job by putting a seed of doubt. Where like the comments, I saw Eric Name's tweets where before Tuesday night's game, before game 2, was essentially that, like, I forget, sorry to paraphrase Eric, but it was like, yeah, he's further along than we thought, or he's doing better. He was on the court doing his pre-work stuff, but it made me think like, oh, he's playing in this series. Maybe it's game 3, maybe it's game 4, maybe it's game 5, but Giannis is playing in this series. But I think part of the calculus could just be that you would want to avoid further injury, which could happen. A calf injury can create many things, as Durant and others have found out. But anyway, Bart, your take on, part of you just wants this team to lose and be done with it. Which, by the way, Grant, I hear what you're saying in your response, but last night is still probably a fresh wound, and I think that it's it's a bit. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's probably because the wound is still very fresh. Bart, over to you.
Well, I will answer that question right after I tell you about happyplacehemp.com.
What a segue.
Well, you're going to need it for a segue. There's a lot of these gummies that you're going to need after watching these games. And these games are going to be a lot less torturous if you pop open the can of that seltzer at tip-off. Happyplacehemp.com. They've got CBD products. They've got THC infused products. They've got the gummies, the seltzer, like I mentioned, hooking up with 1840 Brewing. They have got the lip balms and the rubbing oil. The gummies, the big hit. I mean, we all know about the gummies. You can check them out. Happyplacehemp.com. The promo code is BART. What does that do? 25% off your order. Just one order? No. 2 orders? Yeah, but 3 orders? Sure. All orders! 25% off every order, even if you stop into their physical locale in Muskego. Check them out, happyplacehemp.com, promo code BART. All right. Do I want the Bucks to lose, or would it be easier? Professionally, I will answer this first. Yes. Professionally, doing a show when they are playing is very hard. Now, if they play on, like, this schedule's okay, Sunday and then Friday afternoon and then Sunday, all right. But when they're losing in the moment and I'm watching the game, and then when they're losing and then I have to, like, I really, because there are some people that have, like, because this is what's messed up. I do a show in Milwaukee. So obviously, I know more Milwaukee than most national radio people. So I will use Milwaukee as references, like just simple things like, hey, I went to a Brewers game, or, when I remember growing up and watching Brett Favre, stuff like that. So I feel like I have done a pretty good job of making sure it's not, oh, I'm doing a Milwaukee show that these affiliates are stuck with. I'm doing a national show. A lot of times, instead of saying my favorite team, I'll say your favorite team, just stuff like this. I make a concerted effort to not sound like I'm doing Into the Winklerverse on the Infinity Sports Network. That being said, there are people who hear me say something like, yeah, no, I had a fun day. Oh, how was my day? Thanks for asking. I went to the Brewers game and then, got ready for the show. Yes. Hello, Infinity Sports Network. This is affiliate. Too much Brewer talk on the show today. We can get he's in Milwaukee, but why does he have to mention? I feel as I get older that I am not smarter necessarily than most people, but I am better at comprehension than most people. And that's my big word. I put out that tweet about Tyrese Halliburton. I got one guy sending me articles about Ryan Braun doing stuff and Brett Favre doing stuff. Friend, I said Wisconsin born. It's simple inability to read, inability or the rush to want to fight and prove someone wrong. And that's what bothers me about some of the things that I deal with. So it's easier for me to do my job if Milwaukee is not involved in anything, because then I don't have to take that trap. However, what's hard for me is the post game. I can sort of watch a game better than I can react to the game afterwards, especially when the quotes start coming out and Halliburton says all this stuff. The Dan Schani YouTube stream shows 2 very engaged listeners. Paul's at least nodding his head between bites of chicken nuggets. I don't know what Bills is doing. I don't want them to lose.
I want them to win. Listening without needing to interject or provide. Keep going.
How do you do that? How's that work?
It's my 10 to 2 job every day. I listen intently and provide witticisms when necessary.
I don't know. Like, for professionally, it's easier to do my job if the Bucks just lose. But if they lose in such a way, then I have to, like, defend the Bucks. Because how they're going to lose is not going to be how it's perceived that they lose. How Adrian Griffin got fired was not how it's perceived that he got fired. How Doc's doing with this team is not how it's perceived. How the Pacers are tied with us is not. They're tied with us because Giannis isn't playing. But then you're going to be like, oh, Doc Rivers. It's like people just forget that Giannis exists. Giannis is not playing in the series. In the Pelicans series, everyone's like, oh, well, no Zion. In the Heat series, everyone's like, oh, well, no Jimmy. And in this series, it's like, no, fuck that. You got to do it. Fuck Giannis. You don't get him. It's really, this whole season's been like this, where the Bucks are held to a higher standard. And then if I say that, because I believe that with my fullest. But then if I say that on the show, then it's like,
hello, network. We're affiliate. This guy, I mean, we get it. He lives in fucking Milwaukee. We get it.
You know what, though? Like, so we might be more sensitive to these things, and we have our bias with it. But sometimes it defies logic. Like when ESPN, I sent it to you guys the other day, they had their list of the 25 most important, most impactful players for the playoffs or whatever. And before you could get to the, before you could read all 25, you had to log into ESPN Plus, which I don't have. But I could see the first 13. And it mentioned up top, okay, we're not going to rank Kawhi Leonard or Giannis because their availability is a question mark and blah, blah, blah. You could see the first 13 before logging in. And I saw Tyrese Halliburton's name. I didn't see Damian Lillard's name. Yeah. You're making a list of the most important, most impactful, like if your team's going to do good, here are the guys that need to play well list. And in a non-Giannis, like we're not going to include Giannis in this list. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. That's cool. You're going to have that be a qualifier and then not put Damian Lillard like ahead of some. That isn't. Bart, you've said it before. If the exact rosters were flipped, like Boston and Milwaukee, I promise you that Boston Celtic Damian Lillard, who's the 1B to Giannis's 1A, and Giannis is out for the Boston Celtics, Lillard would be in the top 13. Like, I know that's nitpicky and kind of dumb and sort of a local whatever, but like, it could be disputed. There's no way to prove it, but like, to me, that's a fact. How could you, a professional NBA writer who does this for a living, be like, yeah, I don't think Dame is one of the 13 most important players, even without Giannis? The fuck are you?
Because they're all Celtics fans.
It's unbelievable. You can't tell me that that's not the case, that it's not inherent bias, and that they just don't want to. They don't want the Bucks to win. It was on display during the finals. Like the national media people were like, "Oh, fucking Milwaukee, gotta go to the fucking Milwaukee." Like some of the guys were cool. The TNT crew was cool about it, but there were plenty of others who nationally bitched.
When Giannis won a title, it was on the backs of his brothers and his trials and tribulations and his journey to get here, and the guys in the Bucks organization early on that drafted him and his teammates along the way. Those were everybody that helped hold him up. If Tatum wins a title, it's on the backs of Doris Burke and Hubie Brown and Kendrick Perkins.
I will say, can I throw something in on the topic of Milwaukee versus the world? I get it, especially relative to Boston. Also, it's a little much when I'm listening to, 97.3 or Willie and Tausch, or I'm listening to Sparky. Like, don't you Milwaukee sports talkers, do you ever get sick of the woe is me complex? Well, the national media hates Milwaukee. The national media doesn't want Giannis to win MVP. The national media, it's a little much sometimes. So it's a little victim-y.
You Milwaukee sports talkers, he says.
But Grant, like, we have we can talk about whatever we want. We can go for 4 minutes. We can go for 40 minutes. We can go for an hour and a half, the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Bart, this is one of your like charges in life that you feel that you're responsible for. But like, I feel like other people are noticing this, right? Like, it's one of those, like, am I taking crazy pills things? This is not like the Milwaukee bias, right? This is not like, oh, my guy, oh, my team.
Every other team was celebrated at one point in the season.
Yeah, it's like, I want to check with the three of you, or the three of us, but then like listeners might hear, but and Bart, like, you wouldn't ask this for all the reasons that you've mentioned on the National Perspective Show, but it's like, do other people see this? It's like those one of the, and so that's why
a healthy Suns team is down 0-2, getting less strife than a injured Bucks team tied at 1.
It's so it's weird, and it's like, and Grant, to your point, is it like, oh, we're being oversensitive, so we're overvaluing and overjudging the criticism that we are taking compared to the Suns? I think Bart's point, and Bart, who is a local guy and a national guy, all packaged up in one. I don't think he's wrong. It just could any like unbiased NBA fan say like, you know who's not one of the 13 most important players in these playoff series is Damian Lillard, even though there's no Giannis. Like that's fucking ridiculous. Like that it's illogical.
I guess the difference.
And the only thing can be is like, okay, so there's bias. Like there's something else. There has to be an explanation.
I guess the difference between you and me is I don't care enough about whatever list that was. I saw the tweet. We don't even know what it's from.
I know what it's from. It's from ESPN. I went to it.
Who wrote it?
The NBA Collective.
Okay. Well, I don't. And like, yeah, that's bad. That's dumb. It's dumb. It's silly. I also I don't.
I mean, I've heard other national radio shows where one of the folks involved with it has insisted that Giannis is a coach killer.
That's dumb. I'll defend Giannis a little bit on that against the national media. But
I also can't, and this is part of me ignoring the pain in the regular season. I can ignore it in the regular season because it doesn't matter. I can't control my emotions in the playoffs. I have a hard time dealing with playoffs.
So do you think,
and not the winning, the losing?
Do you think though, Bart? Here's a fun question that is very specific and like perfect for you. Do you think that the practice that a lot of these Bucks fans that you get on their case of like caring too much about the regular season, do you think the reps that those fans have gotten in by being so upset about regular season wins has prepared them for this playoff loss more so than you, because you haven't been caring, and so now you're like, oh, now you care all at once.
Well, crazily enough, both ways of practice are not effective. I think we were all in the same spot last night. It's just that some get to say like, I told you so or whatever.
Yeah. But I do think part of the reason I haven't finished that Clippers Mavericks game was I didn't want to, like, it's like the thing if the Packers lose at the Saturday night game and then there's Sunday playoff games the next day. I'm going to watch, but I'm kind of just, I don't really want this right now. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't that they lost. And by the way, I attribute the game 1 win mostly to the Pacers shooting poorly and the game 2 loss by the Bucks to the Pacers shooting well. Sometimes it's not that complicated. Yeah, I don't know. We can move on.
I don't know. Do other markets sit around and complain about how the national media hates them? Like, is this something that every place does, or is this just this? Could be.
I've seen. I mean, not that we're as closely tied to it as we would be in Philadelphia, but I sure feel like that it was happening over the past day and a half in Philly, with all the commentary about how the game ended, and then I don't know, Stephen A. Smith sitting courtside, and then he went on like, I thought Maxey got mugged, and he got, and then the last 2-minute report comes out, and then, you know, Bart, there's definitely 3 Philadelphia Bart Winklers who have been getting cry more responses if someone said, like, seriously, it's the NBA has just declared he was fouled. The NBA just declared that Nick Nurse called the timeout and it should have been granted. And the response to these facts would be cry more. So
I just wish there was a way to, like, I'm tweeting to a Wisconsin audience. I don't want to have to get in a thing against Indiana fans. It's so annoying.
You can, but you know, not that you should do this.
You guys, Grant, you tweet more than Paul. Do you ever get this where it's like
I got a couple
base picks up your tweet and it's the worst thing because you just have to wait for it to end.
Yeah, Nuggets fans found my tweet about the Nassus yesterday, like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh,
and most
the
of
Jokic brothers.
Yeah, and most of them were right. They're all like, what does this have to do with anything? And I'm like, nothing, but
you're just making a joke for your audience.
Yeah. And I got like 1,000 likes because it's funny and, you know.
250,000 people seen me bitch about Tyrese.
Don't let facts stand in the way of a good tweet, ever. Facts are secondary.
I do remember about 5 years ago, I don't remember the exact situation, but it was a Cincinnati Reds player against the Brewers where you guys might remember. Maybe you'll be able to connect the dots for me. But it was a guy who had been hit more than anyone else. And like he straight up like offered his elbow to get hit by the pitch. Like he's like, yes, here it is. Like, can you hit it, please? That'd be great. I want to go to first. And it was like, I remember tweeting something along the lines of like, where's, you know, baseball should do something, or the umpire should clearly have seen this, or whatever the case was. And it was at least an example that comes to mind of like Reds fan. Like I didn't know there was Reds Twitter. And it was like, wow, there's fucking
Natty Sports, man. Natty
sure.
fucking Sports.
But that was one that happened to me about 5.
Here's a tweet I just got. It's unrelated to this. but
Crime
I
it.
want to bring it up. Bart Winkler show. Love your show, but the Green Bay Packers is the only NFL team owned by mere commoners. It's just not true. For the past 5 years, the Browns have owned Joe Burrow and the Bengals, with Myles Garrett the majority owner. See what I did there? Who's tweeting me that at 3? I'm gonna say not really.
Why is anyone tweeting that? Ever?
I said, not really.
Not really. Not really at all.
Now, I got to be careful. My Twitter is so much more professional with my new logo now.
Yeah.
I thought about getting the blue check again.
You would have made some money on this Halliburton tweet.
I just can't support Elon.
It's the Bart Winkler show on the Infinity Sports Network.
Plus, I'm getting Zuckerbucks.
Zuckbucks, how?
I don't know. They gave me like a bonus each month as a content creator. So I'm stealing posts from the Nostalgia Twitter feed and putting them up on my Facebook feed.
I did notice that.
For real?
Wonder what he's doing here.
I need one account that's like an engagement farm account. So I've chosen Facebook.
I didn't know you could
My
mark-
show account. It's my show account.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my personal page, of which I do nothing. Although I think I did rip off, like, I was on the toilet drunk and I was like, oh, I know all these people. Friends. You know.
All right. Moving on.
One of those nights.
Moving on. Related, but unrelated. I'll wear the free shirt when the owners wear the free shirt. Mm-hmm. Or mm-mm.
I'll go
I
first.
would like to go first on that one.
You go first. I went first the last time.
I almost said I was going to go first because I'm excited. Go, Bart.
I am very pro the shirt giveaway. I would like to use 2 analogies that I used yesterday on my live show. Is that putting on the free shirt is like people at a wedding. Just go on the dance. Why? If there's ever a time to get on the dance floor, it's a wedding. Who gives a fuck? You don't like. No one's gonna think that you're. No one. It's like, oh yeah, you're here. No one's like, oh, did you see Kyle dance at the wedding? He's bad at dancing.
By the way, I do in fact sit on the sidelines and judge dancers at but go ahead.
Well, I think we all could have pinpointed that on you. And then the other thing is, we live in. I'm trying to think of a way to say like Wisconsin, like coupon skin. I'm trying to say something like that. We love free shit. So we go to a game and we get free shirts. If there's a shirt on your seat, no bueno. If there's a shirt that's coming out of a fucking cannon with the Bucks and the tiniest legal logo ever, and then Gruber across the back, you will sacrifice young children's lives jumping over them for these shirts. So just put on the shirts. But look, if the owners aren't going to wear the shirts, then fuck the whole thing. Gruber was there in a suit and tie. Like, hey, buddy, we all know you have a professional job. We see you on TV every 7 fucking seconds. You don't need to wear a suit and tie on the courtside seat. You go into a Bucks game, put on the fucking shirt that you probably helped sponsor. Or maybe that was the thing. These weren't Gruber shirts, so it was a protest. You go to any Goodwill in this town, it's like Rogers jersey, softball team sponsored by Goodwill, Rogers jersey, Buck shirt from Gruber. Gruber, I meant to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, if the owners, first of all, the only reason that the whole shirt thing is a big argument is because people have decided strongly not to wear the shirts. So I don't think, Grant, you might agree with this. The argument isn't so much, I mean, it looks cool when everybody wears them, but the argument isn't so much, guys, we need to wear the shirts. The argument is you're taking a stance against something stupid. Just fucking do it and stop thinking you're so cool.
But however, I think you also said that you do agree if the owner won't wear it, screw the whole thing.
Well, Lazary wore the
Even
24-1 shirts.
Even
know
that's stupid, though.
You know what,
Paul.
Grant, though? It sounds like you and I are about to strongly disagree on this.
Edens
no.
gotta wear the shirt. You gotta wear the shirt, Edens.
Who?
Make it a cutoff.
Until they do, I'm not fucking wearing it.
That's so dumb. That's the dumbest. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
No.
The owners should wear them, because if you're gonna sit courtside and be a fan,
I will. If
you're
you
gonna
won't, don't tell me what to do.
If the owner is going to be a fan, the owner has decided, I'm going to the game and I'm not sitting in a suite. I'm not watching this from my office.
He's taking seats away from fans.
Then you should wear the shirt.
Yes.
But under no reasonable circumstances should a fan sitting in the 200s be like, is the owner wearing them? Well, then I would never. That's fucking dumb. That's so dumb. Like, you need the owner to lead the way. The owner should wear them. Yeah.
No, Grant, this is called principle, motherfucker. If they're gonna put up marketing videos, the 4 steps of how to put on your shirt, and the face of the team from it won't do it, fuck you.
This is so dumb. This is so.
Also, I don't want your free shirt. First off, let me start there. I don't want your free shirt. I don't want it.
Why?
I just don't want it. I don't want it.
What's wrong
Towels
with you?
do look better.
Is it so hard to just
look better?
Is it so hard to just participate in something? Is it just so hard?
It's just not my thing. I don't want it. I didn't ask for it, and I'm going to take a principled stand on this one.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm going harder at this than I was going to, just because I can tell it's irritating you.
I was going to say.
I'm going to keep poking.
Well, no, and my frustrations with you, I'm watching the Bucks game last night, and they do these crowd shots, and there's some guy in a black polo shirt. And I'm just thinking, like, what kind of douchebag do you have to fucking be to be like, no, I'm not simply going to put on the shirt that everyone else is wearing? Like, what is in your brain that causes you to be that way?
Now, here's the thing, though. It is always, correct me if I'm wrong, Bart, you were there for game 1. It is always an extra large, right?
I think my in-season tournament was a large. Or I think they had extra larges, and there were different shirts available, but you kind of
regardless, like in the pro shop, they have multiple sizes of every option. But when you get it on your chair, it's like, here's the one size. So, Grant, to defend the person who might not have been wearing it, might have. You guys have to watch that. It was the best side eye I've ever received in my life. I'm going to defend this random fan and say, what if it didn't fit?
This discourse, and this is why I got tilted.
You knew the color of the shirt, though.
Oh my god!
Oh, you're saying so you could have worn your own white shirt?
Oh my god! These are all the little side conversations that stem from. None of these conversations need to happen. These are all ridiculous. Well, what if you're overweight and it doesn't fit? Well, you could always just bring a white shirt from home. It's a fucking free shirt. Just put it on your body when you're standing at the game. None of these conversations, none of these takes need to be had. None of these concerns are real. It's just dumb. And it doesn't affect the team's ability to win, but it looks bad. It looks bad. It looks bad on television. When other people of other teams turn it on, they're like, what the? And then at halftime, all the seats are empty starting the third quarter. It just makes us look JV.
The third quarter thing, just like when the Miami Heat start a game and the arena, at least the television viewing, is like maybe half full. I totally agree with you on the third quarter thing. The start of the third quarter, the start of the game, like to use the Miami Heat example, that looks bad. But yeah,
but it's hard. It's at halftime. It's hard to do anything.
It is hard. Just going to the bathroom and buying one can of something. I agree. It is 25
hard. Minutes. You miss. Yeah, you can't get back there. So we advocate for longer half times,
which sucks for the people watching at home on television. It's catered to the television audience, which understandable. So is the NFL, right? I like that about the NFL, but it does suck for the people in the arena.
Yeah.
Let's use a women's bathroom.
Yeah.
Tyler Harrow's dad.
Yeah.
Harrow?
It's closer.
Euro.
Here's one of those, you'll laugh. I've heard it both ways. But I think it's Hero. But some people do say Harrow, and I'm like, what?
I called him Tyler Hero until he left Wisconsin. Then I called him Harrow because he doesn't deserve to be a hero to me.
Yeah. Here's what I wasn't planning to ask, but I think this would be another fun one that I think Grant and I for sure might strongly disagree on. So maybe, I don't know what Bart's take. Nathan Marzian, I saw this tweet from him the other day. I don't know if this is a bad take, but in my opinion, you should not be attending a playoff game if you are planning on just relaxing and watching the game. That's what the regular season is for. Going to a playoff game should be for the purpose of helping the team win by being engaged. To that, Nathan, I say, I'm watching the game. I'm going to watch the game how I watch the game. I'm there to watch basketball.
Maybe there's a middle ground, but like a playoff game is not the time to be like, oh, geez, Peterson, I got to nail this last client down, and this is going to be the ticket to get him to sign our multi-year contract is to bring
I'm not saying I would be simultaneously working, if that's what you're saying, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I spent too many years in a press box, but I watch games studiously. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's how I watch, and it clearly isn't going to
still watch and like participate.
I wouldn't not I'm not like actively. I'm not going to make a public stand like I am against. I'm not wearing the fucking shirt till the owner does. That's my principle. That one's different. But I just don't watch sports like that. So
I think there's a lot of discussion.
I'm not saying, you know what, my ticket should go to someone who's going to be a more active participant because it's going to help the team. Like I don't think that's fair at all. Some people enjoy things differently. Some people are at a concert.
Here's the thing with the fans. It's not a certain type of person going. It's not a certain mindset, or maybe it is a little bit. What it is we have become accustomed now, crazily enough, to playoff games, and a first round playoff game doesn't have the same juice that it used to. However, there's another part of that. Some fan bases, that doesn't matter. Some fan bases take a severe amount of pride in making sure that every playoff game and every game that they attend, that they are a part of the action. And Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is not just a Bucks thing. I never understand this. We're so proud of our teams. We wear Brewers polos to weddings and church. Yet when we go to a Brewers game, we're like, I don't want to cheer in public. Are you crazy? When you're actually at the thing that you proclaim to love so much. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and it bothers me. You've
Wisconsin crowds. Paul's muted. What's gotten into Paul today? First of all, more
Paul
swearing.
is really fired up.
He's jumping in more often.
Yeah.
Follow up.
Like, Paul.
This
is the Paul episode.
I don't want it to be, because I think all the things I've said, I'm in the extreme minority, and I think there's gonna be people who are like, "What an asshole! I don't like this guy." I feel like
I like you more today.
I feel like my takes are divisive to the point that it's gonna be like, I don't want to. Screw this guy. I hope that's.
I'm with Marzian within reason. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you should have to be screaming at the top of your lungs the whole game, but I don't think you should get to sit down and be angry that others also won't sit down. You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair. You know what? Good middle ground.
Yeah, within reason. But I do think you should go to a playoff game with the intention of, this is a playoff game. Let's bring it a little extra tonight, even if it means, you're not taking your shirt off and screaming at the top of your lungs from opening tip to the final buzzer.
Like, I mean, and again, I honestly, I think I'm growing into my age, because I would have been this way 20 years ago. I don't, like, if the guy next to me is screaming his head off, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, if it's just him screaming, the idea is everyone's yelling. It's a sporting event. It's a competition.
Yeah.
Again, within reason.
I think you found a good middle ground.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, that's a Marzian W. Of the Green and Growing podcast with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
But overall, you count that as a W. I mean, I want that to be true. So removing myself, yes, I want it to be louder on TV. Like, as a TV viewer, like, it's more fun if it's loud, and it probably does benefit the home team and the Bucks if that is the case. But Bart, one of your mini catchphrases is, "I'm not here to tell you how to fan."
But
I just think some people enjoy things in different ways, and
our crowds stink. They stink.
The great game one, I'm telling you, game one was good. That's all I know. I was there. Game one was good.
You were up in the cheapies.
Game two, a lot of people were shitting on the Bucks because a lot of fans left when they were down 20. Dude, they don't know Tuesday night Milwaukee traffic like I do. You got to get out of there if you're going to get to bed on a normal hour. So I have no problem with that.
Also, Grant, I don't know what you did. I know Bart was actively working, so he did not turn off his TV. I turned it off with like 5 minutes to go. I don't want to subject myself to any more of this misery. So I did the television equivalent of walking out with 5 minutes to go.
How much
I
would
did
you
not.
pay a guy to come and fix one piece of siding on your house?
Here we go.
I heard a little bit about this.
Here we go. Here we go. Because I tried to get a ladder up there and I couldn't do it.
All right,
How much would you pay for one piece of siding?
just to literally rip it off?
No, to reattach it. It's going to take him 15 minutes.
$100.
I was gonna say like 250 or less.
Yeah, I'm will $100 I think is good. I got a 250 quote and I'm like, fuck that.
I do know, but I do know from past home renovation experiences, if climbing a tall ladder is involved, it is a upcharge because of the danger, which I get.
Isn't it like 9 feet in the air?
If that's all it is, then that would be different. But
No, it's not. It's like 10, maybe 15.
is it like as tall as when they climb the ladder for ladder matches, where it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen them ladder match live, Bart, but the ladders are not like the belts. Like you could jump and grab them. Like they're not very high.
I had a guy come out once. See, this is the problem because I had a guy come out once and reattach another piece of siding. And as he was here, there was like a 10-minute rainstorm and he wouldn't just wait it out. He got on the ladder. It rained for 10 minutes. He's up there. I thought he was going to die.
Oh boy.
And then he left. And I'm like, what's the damage? Because I'm in the Midwest. And he goes, oh yeah, just Venmo me $65.
Oh wow.
So this guy almost died.
For $65 to fix your shit.
I remember that story.
Yeah, it's a classic one. That's not an A-side story, but it's in the collection.
I don't think I know that one.
Well, there's another part to it. My neighbor came out and watched this horror. And she looked at me like, what are you making this man do?
Your neighbor watched this horror?
Horror.
Ah. Well done. All right. Here's a multifaceted one. The Bucks, Brewers, Packers. The team of those three who is built to have the most success over the next 5 years.
What is it, your first day as a producer?
What? Why don't we just talk about which team's going to win a championship next?
Which team do you think is built the best
Who's built the best?
to win for to have the most success over the next 5 years?
The Packers.
Is it that obvious? Because that's what it was to me too, and that's why I just wanted to gut check it.
Well, the Bucks are at the fucking bottom.
But they could win.
Yeah.
I'd say the Bucks have the highest probability of winning a.
All right, good question. We're sorry.
Yeah. So I would say, if I could only pick one of the three to win a title in the next 5 years, I think the one most likely to do it is the Bucks. Because they have this year, I think they have the current season if Giannis can come back, and then I think they have next year. And then I think it's over. And I don't think they're going to win. I mean, I think this year got derailed because of the injury. Not that they were playing well. Not that the regular season matters.
Players that get injured typically don't get less injured as they get older, though. That is a thing.
But who are we talking about?
Where do you want to start?
Well,
Chris, Giannis, Dame,
Brooke
is. I tell you what, here's a small little side take. I don't know that there's an athlete that I've played for one of my teams that I've enjoyed more and talked about less than Brooke Lopez. What a fucking treat it is to turn on my TV and to watch him play for my team. They're all getting older. And all these role players suck. They suck. All of them. There's not one of them that I like other than Bobby occasionally.
Yeah, but you know what though? I'm gonna go full on anti-Bobby. I don't.
He takes shitty shots, and that killed him last night.
He's such an inefficient player. He drives me. He some guys are just bad. Like Crowder at this point, who used to be a very
horrible.
He's just bad now, and that's
horrible.
Different. That's different. So I'm not going to say I hate watching him because he's just not good anymore, and that it is what it is. Bobby just drives me crazy watching him play inefficient basketball. It just
he last night he misses a dunk. Throws the ball out of bounds. He goes to the bench. Bobby.
Totally.
I'm sitting at home
you know what though? But to that point,
ass.
But to that point, I would say to Bart's thing, that was good fanning, right? That was
was it?
I think it was.
You hear what I said the other day? When Bobby, in the first quarter in game one, when Bobby was getting the ball, the crowd was getting up on their feet, oh, he's going to do something. It's like
when
they were treating him like he's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
No, but-
yeah.
What
I
are we
think
doing? It's Bobby Portis.
the thought that I
He
had
almost
last,
got traded for Grant Williams.
Yeah.
much to his dismay, that it was even a possibility. I think the thought that crossed my mind in watching him again last night was, I think if Bobby Portis thought he was 60% as talented as he is, he'd be really good. But he has an overinflated sense of value on the court, and so he does things that he shouldn't do. And if he just did the things that are more in his wheelhouse, he would be a really effective Beverly type player. Beverly knows he's not that good, and he needs to just be the hustle guy. It's awesome. Like, that's what you want. You want
Plays within himself.
right. You want guys who play within themselves. And Bobby, like, and you know, like Grant, there'll be a Pistons game in November. I wonder how to use that example. Like where Bobby is really fun and he's the best player on the court because, you know, you're playing the fucking Pistons in November. But when it's playoff time, like, I just want him to say, like, oh, okay, like, I'm 70% as good as I think I am. Because then I think he'd be really good. Is that a weird sentence?
Well, no, his shot selection is terrible. Like, he was passing up catch and shoot threes. They weren't wide open, but they weren't not open. He'd pass up a catch and shoot three to drive in 4 feet, back somebody down, and then take a turn-away jumper. And in this series, it's going to kill him even more because bad shot selection is going to lead to more missed shots, which is going to let the Pacers go run. So in this series, more than just about any other matchup, like, the Bucks need to be really, really good and efficient with the shots they choose to take, and then, of course, they need to make them. So Bobby killed him the other night. Look, I don't know that there's a player on this roster that's more detrimental than Malik Beasley.
Wow.
I am so he's not a winning player. He's not.
Oh,
He loses focus every 5 seconds. He's a goldfish. He's a golden retriever out there.
He is
Anytime there's a breakdown, it's him. Every single time.
He's a one-dimensional player.
What's his one dimension?
He's a good shooter.
When is that going to come into play in this series? Is that at any point going to... He hit one in the fourth quarter of game one. Or the end of the third, beginning of the fourth.
It's the same thing with Buddy Hield in the first couple games. Like, if shooters are cold, they're unplayable. If single-dimension shooters can't shoot, they're unplayable. Hield has been unplayable. Beasley has been unplayable.
If Beasley is a one-dimensional player, then Jay Crowder is a zero. He has no dimensions. He is a zero.
He's a half dimension. Like, he's still a rugged defender.
I'm trying to think of a way to make a bunch of money.
He's a rugged defender.
Okay.
I want to make a bunch of money really fast. Maybe I'm going to be a motivational speaker, and I'm going to use that as the guideline. I'm going to sit in front of crowds with that shitty, stupid head mic, and I'm going to say, you got to look within yourself, guys. What is your one dimension? What is your contribution to the world?
Do you ever think about positions like that, like a motivational speaker or whatever? And do you ever just think, if they handed me a mic and I had to go out there and bullshit for 10 minutes, I could totally convince everyone that I am?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs like
you say all the things that you know are true, but you won't do yourself. 5 a.m. You got to get up before the roosters. You say shit like that.
If you want to live like no one else, then you're going to have to live like no one else. You just regurgitate Dave Ramsey-isms too.
Yeah. Pay off your credit cards.
Yeah. Don't play Malik Beasley. Never Malik Beasley.
Hi, Dave. Yeah, I got a slight problem. Oh, yeah. What is that? I make $700,000 a year. Okay. I've got $9 million in debt. What?
Whoa.
Why? I don't know. I just bought a new Lamborghini. Maybe don't do that.
You're going to go back to the dealership tomorrow. See what you can do about that. Okay.
And then you're going to ask for a job there.
Yeah.
I
want you working about 80 to 90 hours a week.
It's going to be hard. You're going to have a shitty life for the next 35 years.
Yeah.
But you'll have one summer before you die where you can enjoy your life.
The only way that you see the inside of a restaurant is if you're working there. And I'm talking beans and rice and beans.
Those are literal quotes I've heard him say.
Oh yeah.
No, I know. I know you know. Like that was.
They're all the hits.
That wasn't hypothetical. That was a direct pull quote. So put a stamp on it. Like, you get $1 million if you're right.
Packers.
No. You get $1 million if you're right. One of these teams that wins a championship in the next 5 years. It would be the
Packers. I want to bet on the team that's on the come up, not the team that's trying to hold on at the top for dear life, flailing with one arm on the monkey bar with all the limbs
Do
flailing.
you want to
in the
say
wind.
Bucks? Do you want to say Bucks?
But right now, I think I think the Packers will have more total success because I think like the 4th and 5th year of this 5-year hypothetical, the Bucks have a very, very high likelihood of being below average non-playoff team, or like Bulls style where you're fighting for the 10. It could very much happen because Dame will presumably be gone or traded for whatever, and Giannis will be 33. Will he still be? I don't. I think they could be pretty bad in years 4 and 5. But okay, who's closer to winning a championship right now with how they're built? Pretend Giannis is healthy.
Well, the Bucks are in the playoffs.
But kind of. I mean, they're 1-1 in the first round.
Well, it's April, so
Yeah.
No, but it just means, I
The
mean, like the
Bucks
way
can
that they're
win first.
you guys are poo-pooing this. I think this is more interesting than what you're giving it credit for.
it is interesting. I'm enjoying this conversation. It's just I enjoy teaming up on people with Bart, and I feel like
to be fair, I was doing it to you earlier, so that's only fair.
Yeah, I'm a good swing voter.
he's a walking Pennsylvania is what he is.
Mm-hmm.
With elections, do you ever get sick and tired? We were talking about whether or not we just want the Bucks to lose, to just be over with it because we hate all this pressure. I feel this is a voter in Wisconsin as well. I'm sick of determining elections. Can I move to a less consequential state?
Yeah.
I hate it coming down to us. I'm sick of it.
You can just move a little bit south, Illinois, you'll be fine to do that.
I'm sick of the text messages. Like the text should just be, "Hey man, can you vote for Trump?" Or "Hey man, can you vote for Biden?" Instead of, "Hi, great to reach out to you today. My name is Angela Davis with the Neighborhood Research Project. I want to tell you a story. In 1989, there was a young girl named Violet, and then she grew up. But do I have your vote for Robert Kennedy Jr.? What the fuck?"
Anyways,
I didn't get that.
Sorry to bring up elections. What were you going to say, Paul? I'm so sorry.
I didn't get that text. No, before you said what you said, I was going to say, "Hey, Greg in Michigan, are you sure you want to share this?"
Oh, Karen Mack.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Greg's a pretty shitty caller, but every once in a while he'll throw in a random statement where it's just like, it's kind of funny that he threw that in there.
Prayers up to K-Mac.
Yeah, just
Prayers
throwing a stick of dynamite into the room as you leave the show. I'm a fan of that. I enjoy that.
Last question. We should at least briefly. I'm so excited for the draft. Like this Bucks.
You were going to bring up the Brewers. I'm like, can we just?
No, this Bucks torment has obviously led to more emotions, but I'm so excited for the draft. After last year's draft, which is an incredible Packers draft class, Brian Gutekunst has earned your full, unquestioned trust when it comes to draft picks and his draft philosophies. Or mm-mm.
I am hesitant to give anybody my full unquestioned trust in that regard. I feel like John Horst is someone we did, and then he is just fucking juggling fire sticks.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he is just Damian Lillard. There's no plan anymore. There's not.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Don't join the group that's just revising history as we move along. It's like, why did they trade for Dame?
No.
I'm not saying that.
Nope, he's not. Yeah.
Why'd they hire Adrian Griffin? Well, because it was 3 choices and Giannis took Nick. Why was it 3 choices? Why was it so rushed? Why? And even though I was a proponent for it, why didn't you just take a step back and look and be like, God, we need to fire Mike Budenholzer? Or we had injuries the last 2 years. Why'd you just do that? I don't know. Anyway. Why'd you fire Mike Budenholzer? Was not a house on fire firing. Jason Kidd was at the time. Now he's like good, I guess, or some shit. Is he good?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Are you unintentionally telling me about last night's game, you ass?
No.
Okay. All right.
Like he's got the Mavs in the playoffs.
Yeah, he does. He also has one of the 5 best players in the world and one of the 15 best players in the world. And he has Kyrie also. Because I was talking about Luka and PJ Washington is what I was.
Oh, okay. So, Bart, you won't give anyone your unquestioned confidence.
Let's see if Bart can refine it. Okay, no.
I think that Goody will have a good draft. And people keep asking me, who do you think the Packers will take? And I'm like, I got no fucking idea. Yes,
Graham Barton.
Out of Duke?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know the pool of which, except for this Cooper DeJean, but it's like DB Cooper. It's like fucking cool, man.
DeJean. Don't say DeJean.
And I got a draft show to do. I got to be on the air during this.
Do you need help with this? Because like the draft is
no, because I'm not leading the show, so I don't feel that much pressure.
What value will you add if you don't even know?
Oh, just classic Bart charm.
Well, here's the thing about Graham Barton. He was a 4-year starter, and he's a decorated player. He did play center for a season, then they moved him out to tackle, so that's, positional versatility the Packers might like. Plays low to the ground. I mean, he gets a good advantage, but, he's probably projecting right now maybe a 6th, 5th lineman spot. You can play backup at a couple spots, but I don't know if I'm sold entirely, I'm going to be honest.
And that was your own thoughts and research?
Yeah, well, I've done extensive research on all these guys, obviously. Mm-hmm. I would give Brian Gutekunst my unquestioned confidence.
I would too.
He's a UWL man, so I know he's made of the right stuff.
Strike one, but yeah,
Jesus Christ, he's cut from the right cloth, right? And obviously great draft last year. I just think.
I'm sorry. Did you mention the weaknesses on Barton, that his arm length is shorter than desired?
He didn't get to that.
I don't think his ideal lateral range matches his outside speed, so he'll have to make some adjustments, but I mean, he'll be an above average starter. It's just not like
Well, you did mention his short reach, and that's something that I left out, but his ability to recover and adjust is there, so he makes up for it.
Yes.
Will he get away with that at the NFL level? It's all about projection. We have no way.
And when Riley Leonard calls you the hardest worker on your team, shit, fucking put the card in right now.
He ends up on the ground too often. That's another problem. Why is he always playing on the ground?
I don't know. It's very Joel Embiid of him.
Yeah.
I've made more of an effort to say Joel too.
You should. I heard him say Joel a couple of times. I was going to text you. I didn't.
No, I'm really saying Joel.
As you should.
Joel, because I could say Joel, but I'm saying Joel.
Joel Embiid.
Joel.
That's how that's sung. I do, and look, we might not need it. I do have a serious comment on Brian Gutekunst in his position.
Please.
This is a take of mine. I've been working this last couple weeks. I'm very proud of this. I think one of the biggest advantages in the NFL is a general manager with job security. A guy who knows that he does not need to do the thing that's going to make him look good right now.
Yes.
Coming up in week 1.
Oh, did you hear the guy? I had a guy, Tage Seth, on from Sumer Sports.
I did.
Tage is great. He was on with Bill last week.
So he's saying that the next edge is GMs that are secure, because there's a lot of GMs that aren't, and they don't care about future picks as much. So the next edge in trading is acquiring, moving back a few spots, but then getting a first-round pick for next year.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if he said that when he was on with Bill. I don't think he was listening. I think he would have remembered if he would have echoed a take that I feel very strongly about.
The other thing I do now is when I interview people, I just look at their Twitter feed and see 20 things they said, and then I just ask them about that.
I've been doing that for a long time. It's good. I want to give them. Here's the thing: when you have a guest,
I was like Eric Eager, the quarterbacks aren't being drafted in the first round. You get to a certain point, it's just like, why are they in the second round? Because he said that on You Better You Bet earlier today.
You wanna hang an 87-mile-an-hour slider right at the belt for your get. Like, what can you give them?
Yeah.
Right
and I knew that was true.
Some of these sports talk hosts are like, let me try to trick this guy we fucking coerced into being on our show.
Yeah.
He's getting up at an ungodly hour to do a 7:20 hit with us. Let me fucking show him I'm smarter than him. No. This is you serve the meat. Yes.
Yeah.
Grant knows.
And you definitely did that when you were like, so kickers. You wouldn't toss him a kicker question unless you knew with certainty that he was prepared and recently discussing or tweeting about drafting kickers.
If you could take the knowledge that I feel a young Grant Bills has about the radio profession, and just give like a little bit of it to all the sports radio PDs of the last 20 years, this business would be in a lot better place. I think he's very smart. You're very smart.
Well, that is appreciated. You
got a lot of these idiots that are like, oh, I can't do sales. I like sports. I'll run that station. Okay, go ahead. Give it a try. Yeah, no, I was in sales, but I went to 5 Cardinals games last year. So yeah, run sports.
I mean, at the end of the day, a sports talk station is really no different than just a bar where people gather
like
to
this.
talk
I mean, is
sports.
this any different of a conversation that we would have?
No,
if we were all
I'm
hanging out?
shit. When we be done recording this, I'm going to call a buddy. I'm basically going to keep doing this. I mean, there's no on or off switch. That's what a lot of sports people don't understand is the turning on of a mic it's nothing more than a ceremony. There's no, this is just conversations that we have all the time. It's a formality, this microphone. Might as well be a lamp. I also think I could masquerade as a program director for 10 or 15 minutes in a meeting. If you rolled me in, it's like, and this guy programs where, oh yeah, I could. Well, our station's
I would
3
be
pillars.
the best program director America's ever seen, except for one minor flaw. I would not be able to fire anyone. I can't do it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You're weak.
Yeah, I'm weak. Did you hear the skipper liner conversation that came up last week?
Skipper liner?
Did I hear
on my show? We talked about when I got fired from the Island Girl boat in lacrosse.
Oh, yeah. I got fired from Howie's on lacrosse and lacrosse. We've both been.
You got fired from Howie's?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, do you want this? It's not a long story, I guess.
I'd like to know why you got fired from the shittiest bar with the best location.
Wow. Howie's is fine. Everyone who works there thinks it's the most important building in the entire world. Well, I was poor at it. First of all, I was bad. And then I went on spring break. I didn't think I was scheduled, but I checked the schedule too early before it updated. And a great moment in my professional career. I got a call when I was in Panama City Beach, and I answered the phone, and the guy, I was drunk, and my boss, Dave, or one of them, was like, "Hey, it's Dave at Howie's. Where are you?" And I go, "I'm in Florida. Where are you?" And
my God.
I don't think that was good. So let me go for the best. I got to work more in radio, and look where I am now.
All right.
That's all I got.
I'm exhausted of content for this period of time.
Mm.
I now not have to get the thrill of a lifetime to go talk to Zach Gelb. He'll probably ask me draft questions, and I am going to just do the whole, what's his name, Graham Barton?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Graham Barton.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do
Reach
that.
is an issue. Not going to win any length battles.
I also agree with your assessment earlier, Grant. Like, on the ground too often is definitely one of my top 3 concerns.
Well, the game's not played on the ground. This isn't wrestling. Game's not played on the ground.
Yeah, it's concerning.
Now, when you guys were talking about draft, you weren't talking about the WWE draft, were you? Starting Friday.
Was not.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I mean, did you go to Raw or SmackDown? Like, who cares?
And then will he show up on the other show with no explanation randomly? Probably still yes.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Final predictions for the Bucks series. If Giannis doesn't come back, they are going to lose.
In 6. They'll lose in 6 if he doesn't come back.
Yeah. That sucks. Oh, well.
But I'm not saying...
One less thing we'll have to worry about.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. Watching the Knicks obliterate the Pacers would be fun, though. And I think the Knicks are mostly overrated. But, God, they play hard. And, they're basically the only team in the league that does. So we should celebrate the Knicks. They play hard. They work hard.
Yeah. And quite frankly, like, who's really talking about them?
No.
Only everybody.
Oh, yeah. Well, that too. All right. Nice little abbreviated Midwest goodbye. Grant Bills, Paul Emig. Thank you, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. This podcast is still happening. Someone just asked me that today. I'm like, oh, I thought you were listening, but never mind. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.